Crude topping $75 a barrel, its highest level in 3 weeks. Energy stocks are soaring as oil prices jump. However, higher oil prices are hitting travel-related stocks, with shares of both airlines and cruise operators falling. Apple is planning to spend more than $30 billion under a multi-year chip supply deal with Broadcom, boosting its U.S. sourcing. Shares of Broadcom are up 6% on the news, while Apple stock is up nearly 1%. After the closing bell, jeans maker Levi Strauss reports second quarter earnings, and Costco will be releasing its June sales data. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
You're probably listening to this in your car, so let me ask you, would you drive without insurance? Of course not. So why is your retirement portfolio unprotected? Gold is portfolio insurance. It helps de-risk your savings when markets get unpredictable. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of Americans do exactly that, with no high-pressure sales and thousands of 5-star reviews. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making any investment decisions.
This is Talk Radio, WCZN.
1819 News.
An employee at a controversial charter school out of Birmingham has been placed on the official state textbook committee for determining future curriculum. Emily Eadings-Sandley works at the Magic City Acceptance Academy, which is designed to promote the LGBTQ ideology and lifestyle. Eadings-Sandley has also been placed by the Alabama State Department of Education on the textbook committee that consists of 23 members. By state law, 14 of those members are chosen by the state superintendent and approved by the State Board of Education. 9 of them are appointed by the governor and approved by the state Senate. The state law also requires that the person nominated to this textbook board demonstrate a post-high school level of knowledge in certain subjects and not be employed within education. Eadings-Sandley is a faculty member at the MCAA. Her name was not placed on the state confirmation records, nor in the Board of Education's resolution for confirmation. 1819 News reporter Craig Munger is pursuing more clarity on whether or not state law was followed in this process. School Superintendent Dr. Eric Mackey was out of town and unavailable to answer questions about this recent appointment. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Covenant Rescue Group seeks to directly support organizations and agencies that are fighting the global battle against human trafficking. They do this through funding, procuring, and advocating. You can go to covenantrescue.org for further details. They need your donations, guys. Hop on and donate.
A soldier at Fort Rucker was arrested and charged for breaking and entering and third-degree burglary. 30-year-old Brandon Emerson is accused of stealing $1,000 worth of equipment from the athletic complex at Enterprise State Community College. The theft occurred over the 4th of July weekend. Police in Brundage are searching for a missing 66-year-old man. Ricky Reeler was last seen on Martin Luther King Drive. He's described as black, 5'5", 150 pounds, with several health problems that require medication. I'm Andrea Tex.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This is Talk Radio, WCZN.
Welcome to Southern Wagyu Steakhouse and Meat Market in Huntsville. From hand-cut premium steaks and chef-crafted Southern favorites to phenomenal made-from-scratch desserts and restaurant-quality meats you can take home. Every meal is made with passion and served with genuine Southern hospitality. Join us for lunch or dinner. Attend a monthly 5-course supper club or stop by to stock up your grill. You'll see that we deliver excellence from prep to plate. Southern Wagyu Steakhouse and Meat Market, corner of Highway 72 East and Jordan Road. Come taste the difference.
When a team sticks together, it shows in the way they work and the way they treat you.
We don't just hire great people, they stay. On average, our managers have been with us over 15 years and company-wide turnover is under 3%.
It's a culture built on integrity and heart.
When you call, you get someone who knows your name, understands your business, and is invested in your success.
And that means service you can count on every time.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. A couple of isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible across the Tennessee Valley. We drop into the lower 70s as we head into the overnight. Rinse and repeat for your Thursday. Mostly to partly sunny sky climbing into the low 90s with a couple of isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms.
Your Fox 54 forecast. Only on Talk Radio WZZN. This is The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN. A compassionate, conservative, reasoned voice. Not just for today's headlines, but for issues that matter to you. Perspective from a distinguished career of service in the U.S. Army. Courage from hours in the pilot seat of a military helicopter in war and in peace. Knowledge of cultures from around the world. Experience from a lifetime of service to America. What matters to you, from the dinner table to the halls of power. Conservative, compassionate, reason. That's The Point.
Welcome, fellow Alabama friends, citizens, and patriots, one and all. Happy to have you with us on July the 8th on a Wednesday. Pretty hot Wednesday out there, and it's going to get even hotter still. We are definitely in the middle of summer, and as you can also see, clouds up a little bit every afternoon. We get little pop-up showers. As Jordan Dressman says every day when I listen to his forecast, he says every day is pretty much rinse and repeat. In other words, it's going to be the same thing over and over again.
You would think it was July in Alabama.
Yeah, you would think it's July. You know, why does it behave like that? By the way, that was producer extraordinaire Brian Temple. Brian,
that's nice for a Wednesday. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being here. Had an interesting little day in the life of our station where the power was out for most of the morning. We don't know why, but we do know it's back on now. So
yeah, I haven't seen. I've reached out to Hudson Utilities to find out what's going on there. I haven't heard anything back. Obviously, on days like this, they're very busy. But I have seen where it was not just exclusive to us. There were several hundred customers without power from Hudson Utilities. But of course, they're back online and things are straightening out pretty quickly.
And power during this time of the year means air conditioning, and air conditioning is a critical thing in this neck of the woods that we live in.
Puts a lot of stress on the system, too. It's a lot of demand. So they keep saying things like, maybe bring your AC up a couple of degrees and watch how much you use. And that's great and all, but it's 100 degrees outside, so no.
It's kind of hard for me to do that. I am not one who likes heat, and the other occupants of my house do not like heat either, so I don't know. I don't know if we can abide by that very much. But today we're going to have our usual Wednesday guest, Skip Vaughn, the editor of the Redstone Rocket, for our little discussion about Redstone Arsenal. And if you look at today's Redstone Rocket, either in paper, in print, or online, you will find out that it's pretty much dedicated. Skip wrote the very first article about the 85th anniversary of Redstone Arsenal. Now, we're a couple of days off, and we couldn't really hit it on the exact nose, but July 3rd, 1941 was the day that the War Department announced the selection of land that was southwest of Huntsville for the creation of a new chemicals munitions facility, and the construction began that summer, and by 1943 the Redstone Ordnance Plant became Redstone Arsenal, and 500 families moved here to this location. And a couple of the highlights, some of the top 10 things in the life of Redstone Arsenal was in 1942 to 1945, the Arsenal became America's pretty much largest producer of chemical munitions and conventional ordnance. In other words, ordnance being bombs and artillery shells and things of that nature. During World War II, the Arsenal operated round the clock, and there were thousands of workers, as there are today, who were making this thing happen. Just a little sidebar on that. Back when I was a captain in the Army station on the Arsenal, my colonel said, "You have to find us a place to store some of the munitions that we were working on." And I said, "Well, sir, how do you want me to do that?" And he introduced me to some old gentleman who had a big ring of keys, huge amount of keys on it. And he said, "Go with this guy and see what you can find." So this gentleman and I went riding around on the Arsenal and found out that there are hundreds of underground bunkers out there. And we opened quite a few of them and took a look inside. It didn't appear like there was anybody who'd been in there for years and years. And a lot of the stuff I found in there were chemical munitions that were dated from the 1940s. And I would just look at that and I'd say, no, we're not going to stay here. Let's go look at another place. And so we went through God knows how many of those bunkers and never really found an empty one. So I failed in my mission for the colonel, but I thought that was an interesting thing to discover. A couple of other things that were key in Redstone Arsenal's success or development is after the war in 1950, that's when we had Operation Paperclip, and Operation Paperclip essentially was the moving of the German rocket scientist Werner von Braun and his team from Fort Bliss to Redstone Arsenal. Von Braun actually picked this place out because he said it reminded him of Bavaria. And as one who lived in Bavaria, I have to say old Werner was pretty much correct. Another key thing that happened in Redstone was the development of the Redstone missile in the 1950s, which was the first ballistic missile. And one of the jobs I used to have on the Arsenal, I was the Freedom of Information Act officer, FOIA, which was one of the worst jobs I've ever had in the Army, because what you had to do was when people would want some information, you had to respond to their request, no matter how crazy it was. And I would get, I'd say over the couple of years that I did that, I got 3 or 4, maybe 5 letters from people who wanted some of the plans of some of these first operational ballistic missiles. And they don't really exist anymore, but I had to come up with some kind of an answer for them. So I tap danced on the paper and got it out somehow.
And on the other side, in my job in media, we sent a lot of those FOIA requests.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, for all sorts of things.
Yeah, well, you may have been one of the ones who was one of my arch enemies back at the time.
Oh, well, I doubt that. It was my friends in the news department.
Oh.
But there were lots of them, and we used to call one of our producers the FOIA queen, because if she had not sent out 3 by the time of the morning meeting, she obviously had the day off.
And, you know, Brian, you have, by law, if you get a FOIA request, you can't just throw it away. You have to give some sort of response. And so that was one of my things, was developing responses for that first missile. Also big in the Arsenal's history was the establishment of the Marshall Space Flight Center in 1960. And in the 60s, when the moon stuff was going on with the Saturn V rockets, most of those rocket motors were designed here at Redstone Arsenal. Without the Arsenal, there is no moon mission. And then the Arsenal became the Army's missile headquarters. I've worked quite a bit with those type of things, such as the Hellfire TOW Stinger Hawk in the MRLS mission. In 2005 to 11, the base realignment and closure process brought thousands of people here, and that brought me back here to work in the aviation business. And now we are a national security hub with the FBI, Missile Defense Agency, Defense Intelligence Agency, Space and Missile Defense Command, NASA Marshall Space Flight Center, and the U.S. Army Aviation and Missile Command. A long history of truly great accomplishments here in Redstone Arsenal. I have been a part of some of those things just on the periphery, but nonetheless, I still felt like I was serving my country. So happy birthday, Redstone Arsenal. And we'll take a break and come back with Skip Vaughn.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
This is Bill Crawford, host of The Point on Talk Radio WZZN. I recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
This summer, we make HVAC history as Sensagreen Heating, Cooling, and Insulation celebrates our country's 250th birthday. Happy birthday, America! In honor of crossing the Delaware River and kicking Cornwallis out of Yorktown, Sensagreen now offers $1,776 off new HVAC systems. Give me liberty and a new HVAC smart system this summer at Sensagreen with Brian. Whatever it takes, just like our founding fathers. USA! USA! USA!
Alabama license number 12705/52808.
Hey golfers, Huntsville has a new place to play golf. The newest, nicest, and only multi-location indoor golf venue in Huntsville is The Golfus. For a limited time, you can grab an unlimited membership for just $99 a month. That's right, play every day for just $99 a month. Check it out. All the details are on thegolfus.com. That's The Golfus. 2 locations in Huntsville and coming soon to Madison. Hey golfers, Huntsville has a new place to play golf. The newest, nicest, and only multi-location indoor golf venue in Huntsville is The Golfus. For a limited time, you can grab an unlimited membership for just $99 a month. That's right, play every day for just $99 a month. Check it out. All the details are on thegolfus.com. That's The Golfus. 2 locations in Huntsville and coming soon to Madison.
WASP Asset Software, delivered by our Next Level software team, helps you track every asset with ease, giving you total visibility over your tools, equipment, and IT assets from everywhere.
With WASP, our customers have reduced loss, improved accountability, and saved hours of tracking down what they own and where it is.
This is proven technology, and I urge you to ask about it.
Baumhauer's Restaurant, legendary food and legendary fun. Whether you're craving the freshest seafood from Alabama's Gulf Coast, juicy chicken or char-grilled steaks seared to suck into perfection, you're craving Baumhauer's Restaurant. Add to that a sports-themed atmosphere and HD flat screens every place you look. For a sneak peek at the menu, go to baumhauers.com. Legendary food, legendary fun. Baumhauer's Restaurant.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well, try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Talk Radio WZZN, and this is The Point with Bill Crawford. That's me, and also alongside is producer extraordinaire Brian Temple. And as we normally do when we are able to every Wednesday, we have the Redstone Rocket Report with the primo editor of the Redstone Rocket, Mr. Skip Vaughn. Skip, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Bill, how are you today?
Well, I couldn't be better. You know, I just had a nice little thing happen to me where I actually was out on the Arsenal at the golf course for one of my favorite things in the world to do, and that's to go out there on the Wednesday where they have the German buffet. And as they say in German, it was sehr gut, sehr gut. So,
wonderful.
When are you going to invite me to one of these?
I
next month,
because I stink at golf, but I'm really good at German buffets.
Okay, we can go next month. You ever been to it, Skip?
No, well, way back in the day, I remember when we had a German eatery, the Soldatenstube, and it specialized in German food, and that was a standalone building.
I remember the Soldatenstube.
Right, right.
Well, the Soldatenstube, as it's actually called, was ran by the German folks. And back in the day when old Captain Bill Crawford was running around on the Arsenal, fresh from a 4-year tour in Germany and very, very good in the German language, I made friends with the Germans, and I talked to them all the time. I like to just sit around and chat with them and keep my German going. And they asked if they could do anything for me, and I said, yeah, you know, there's this German beer called Würzburger Hofbrau, and they knew what it was, and they had a plane that came over every 2 weeks bringing stuff from Germany, and they would always bring me a free case of Würzburger Hofbrau. So I love the Soldatenstube. And that, you know, our history with Germany is a part of the history of Redstone Arsenal, and the lead story in the Rocket today is one written by Skip about the birth date, July 3rd, of Redstone Arsenal, which has now been here for 85 years. Skip, tell us some of the highlights of that story. I read it. It's really good.
Yes. I mean, I felt like I was writing about a contemporary. I mean, the Redstone is 85 years, and I was 25 years old when I came out here in 1980. So I've been here 46 years, which is over half of the history of Redstone Arsenal. But we consider the first date would be July 3rd, 1941, was when the War Department announced they were going to build a chemical munitions plant in North Alabama, and that was it. It was all over the Huntsville Times, and there were fire trucks spreading the news. I mean, it was a big deal, obviously, and so that's our lead story. And I remember when I first came out here, it was mainly a military post. Back then, we had 4,000 soldiers, 4,000 military, and of course now we have probably about 700 military. And so I've seen it change through the years. I mean, back then, of course, we had initially just Army, and of course NASA came out of the Army. NASA evolved from the Army, and so I've seen NASA expand with Marshall Space Flight Center, and now, of course, we're a federal center of excellence. We have defense, we have military, we have space, and we have homeland security with the FBI and ATF, and of course, in the near term, we have the folks coming from Colorado with the U.S. Space Command. And so we'll be having even more organizations here. But we've evolved to a federal center of excellence. We have more than 65 tenants now, still 38,000 acres. I mean, about 46,000 people. And so it's become huge, and it's growing.
Well, if you don't believe Skip, just get in your car and drive around. And you will see with your own eyes the growth that's happening in Redstone Arsenal, pretty much all over the arsenal, but a lot of it happening on the southern end of the base. So that was a good article, and that's a good thing that happened to us. Tell us some of the other highlights from the rocket this week.
Well, I have an update about Gate 3.
Oh.
Yes, the latest, in case you hadn't heard, this coming Friday, we're going to reopen Gate 3, which is on Redstone Road. It'll be reopened from 6 to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday. So that's the latest development. And we were able to do that by taking a guard from another gate and also having support from our military folks. And so we're happy to report that we're able to reopen Gate 3, which I know is your favorite gate.
That's right.
This coming Friday. And it'll just be open in the mornings from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday.
Well, that's probably the most time it is busiest for people going inbound. A quick follow-up question on that. Is it still going to be open outbound if you're leaving the arsenal? I don't think that side ever has closed.
It'll be open both directions, so it'll be inbound and outbound, just doing those particular hours from 6 to 9 a.m.
So even after 9, the outbound lane will be closed also.
That is correct. It will be completely shut down after 9 a.m., but at least we're able to open it during the prime drive time when people are coming to work.
And that is a good thing. And I'll tell you what I wish. I don't know, what they say about if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. I don't know why they can't find the resources to put some people on that gate. But that is neither here nor there. That is just the way it is. So thanks for that update. And give us some more of the Redstone Arsenal news. Oh, tell us about the aviator who made the landing by Gate 7 when his engine conked out.
Yes, that happened. We had some excitement last Thursday morning when this pilot out of he's from Port Orange, Florida. He's a former Army aviator, but he took off after refueling from Huntsville International Airport, and while in flight, his ultimate destination would be Hudson County, Georgia. But during the flight, the early part of the flight, he had an engine failure, and he made an emergency landing on Martin Road, which right near Gate 7. He managed to avoid everything. He didn't hit a thing. This was Thursday morning, in the morning, and he did a great job of landing safely, didn't hit a thing, and there was no fire, no explosion or anything. And so we were able to get that aircraft out of the way there and get it taken care of.
Well, if you look at the pictures in the rocket, you can say, some people may say, the guy's a crackpot, nothing really went wrong. Oh, really? Take a look at the picture of the rocket. That engine was spewing oil all over that aircraft, and frankly, the pilot was very, very fortunate that happened when it did, versus being over the woods or the Talladega National Forest or some of the other things between here and Georgia. But back when I was flying things around that had a lot of moving parts in them, if you did something like that, the Army would give you what they called a broken wing award if you landed a damaged aircraft safely. Thankfully, I never had the opportunity to do that, but didn't want to. But that is a great story and a great photo. And speaking of photos, I noticed a story in there about being careful about taking pictures on the arsenal.
Yes. This is Army-wide for military installations like ours. You can't just grab a camera and start taking pictures out here. You will be arrested if you don't have permission to do this. I run around with a camera all the time because it's part of my job in public affairs. But the layman out there, you can't just come on post and start taking pictures. You have to ask. It's best if you're not sure, ask permission first. I know some people will say, "Well, I'm just taking the picture of the street." No, ask permission. Make sure it's okay with everybody. Make sure that we know that you're out there. And there's reasons why we have that regulation. I mean, there's some bad people out there, and they would love to take advantage of opportunities to come out and take pictures of wherever they want. And so the Army, to preclude that, has a blanket rule that no photography unless you have permission.
Oh, I can tell you this as a former federal employee and also an Army officer stationed out there. We are taught that if we see somebody who's just taking pictures of buildings, that we're supposed to go up to them, talk to them, and possibly even take their camera, because you're just not supposed to do that. So that's a good thing y'all covered that in the Rocket. And one other thing I noticed, one of my favorite places on the Arsenal with their pizza buffet, Brian, maybe we can go out there one day, is the bowling alley's been renovated.
Yes. I mean, they're doing a great job with Redstone Lanes. They have specials for the summer. I mean, I remember when I first came out here, they had an old bowling alley that was off of Patton Road, and it was the old type bowling alley you might see in the old 80s movie. It was very old, and it was, soldiers have been using it for years. And I remember when they built what we have now, which is Redstone Lane, state of the art. They're upgrading all the time, and so there's renovations, and they've opened some new upgrades. And so it's a big deal, and it's a good thing for the community.
Well, it is a good thing for the community. And like I said, if you've never been out there before, for lunch, they have a pizza buffet every day, and it's mighty good. I used to like going out there when I worked out there all the time. And I also noticed that you had another golf tournament to cover. Do you ever get to play, or do you always just have to cover the tournaments?
No, I think I told you about my golf experience. When I was a student at Auburn University, a class I took, I guess it was an elective. I don't think it was required or anything, but I took golf, and I was awful. I was absolutely awful. I mean, I hit balls in the trees. I think I almost hit somebody who was just watching me swing. It was bad. And so I made myself a promise, just like swimming. I wasn't a good swimmer. I barely got through the mandatory swimming class. I made a promise to myself that I would never pick up a golf club again. And I've kept that. I'm 71 years old now. I'm not a golfer. But I love the sport. I actually love the sport. And so I covered it. It was the annual red, white, and blue tournament. They had Saturday. And it's been going on for the 4th of July weekend for more than 20 years. But Saturday, July 4th, was the first time ever that the tournament was actually on the 4th of July. And so I talked to the manager out there, the management, and they said they knew their numbers would be down because it's a holiday and people have plans and they travel and so forth. And so they knew that the number would be down, but they said, hey, we only get one chance to have this tournament on the actual 250th anniversary of our country. So let's do it. And so they did the red, white, and blue tournament, and they had 37 teams, which was down from last year's 47. So this was a two-person scramble. So that means this year they had 74 golfers, whereas last year they had 94. And that's kind of what they expected because they knew people would have their 4th of July plans. But it was great. I mean, the weather cooperated, and two former Lynx club champions, Mark Bamberg and his son Jason Bamberg, they won it. And they shot, it's a two-person scramble, so together they shot a 62.
It's pretty good.
10 under. And so they won. They had the best overall score. But it was competitive. The second lowest score was 64. So I mean, it was competitive. It was competitive, and everybody really had a great time.
Well, I can tell you my little theory. I've been playing golf all my life, and only recently in the past few years have I learned the secret to enjoyment of golf, and that is this, and it's very simple. Firstly, I'm not trying to go pro. I never will. I'm not going to make the PGA Tour, so I don't keep score anymore. And when you don't keep score, there's nothing to get upset about on a golf course. Now, I do, though. I want to kind of shift to a more serious note. I noticed that on the day of your golf course, I think your mom passed away. Is that right?
Yeah. So it was a bittersweet for me. This same tournament, last year, it was on July the 5th. It was Saturday, July 5th, 2025. And I was covering this tournament, and my sister called me and said our mom had died, and so I didn't tell anybody. I went ahead and did what I always do. I covered it, got the winners and so forth, took the pictures, and right before I left, I told a few people there that hey, this was kind of tough because my mom died, and so I went from the links golf course to the funeral home, but that was my Saturday, July 5th of 2025. And so this year, it was in the back of my mind. And so I wrote a column about it, remembering some things she had told me. Because when I was at Auburn, and I was going to, my goal when I first got there was to be the next great cartoonist. I was going to be just like Charles Schultz with Peanuts. And so I go there as an art major, and I failed. I took, I'll never forget the fine design teacher was John Massey, and he flunked me. And so, of course, I was a kid, and I said, well, there must be some mistake. So I took it again, and he flunked me again. And I said, oh, boy, I'm not as good as I thought I was. And I was also taking basic drawing, and I barely passed that. I got a D. I said, okay, I'm not as good as I thought I was. And so in that first year, I changed my major. I went to psychology, sociology, political science, and I was just floundering. And I went to, I'll never forget, I was just heartbroken. So I got on I waited in line for the dormitory hallway phone there at Magnolia Dormitory, Division K, which was the top floor of my building there at Auburn. And I got on the landline, and I was in tears. I said, Mom, I'm flunking out. I'm floundering. And she said, and I'll never forget this. She said, well, you can write. And I told her, and I remember this conversation. I said, Mom, everybody can write. And she said, no, you have a gift. And so I was a kid. I said, oh, all right, whatever. So I started working. I got into journalism. Next thing you know, I just, boom, that was my niche. I did have a flair for writing. I didn't realize at the time. Of course, your parents know stuff like that. I graduated in 4 years in journalism, went right to work with the Huntsville Times, became their police reporter, winning awards, and Mom was right. She was right. And I put that in the column, and something else she told me, and this was a conversation long before that. This was what happened when I was about 10 years old. I was telling Mom, Mom, I can't wait till summer vacation. I'm so sick of school. And she looked me in the eye. She said, Skip, she said, as you get older, time goes faster. And I said, yeah, right, sure. I can't wait till summer vacation. and now she's up there laughing upstairs, and she was right. I'm 71 years old, and I can literally feel time passing. And I can tell you, at age 71, time does go faster. And I know it hopefully, God willing, I'll be 81, and I know time will seem faster still. But Mom was right, and so I wrote about that in my column.
Yeah, that was a very, very good column, and I think most of us would agree that upon reflection, Mom, both past and present, were pretty much always right. So now we get to the favorite part of my little discussion with you, and that is the music list of Skip Vaughn, which, by the way, is only the author's opinion, but Chicago classics. And, man, they have a lot of them.
Yeah. Oh, you got it. Okay.
Of course I've got it.
Love it. Love it. I mean, this was a no-brainer this week. I mean, Saturday happened to be on the 4th of July. So what is that? Saturday in the Park. What is their first line? Saturday in the Park must have been the 4th of July. That's a no-brainer. That's been playing in my mind all week. And so I had to do that.
Well, I don't disagree with any of your selections from your Chicago list. But one thing I should know this, but I don't. Are they still actively recording and touring?
I know they're touring.
Yeah, some version of Chicago is still touring.
Okay.
Yes. I don't think they're recording. They hadn't had any new music out that I know of for years. But I mean, they draw crowds wherever they go. They have so many hits.
Well, and their signature is the horn section. I think they were the first rock and roll band to actually feature actively a horn session in their music. And
well, was it them or was it Tower of Power horns that was first?
I don't know. I think it was Chicago.
What do you think, Skip?
That's a good question. I know Chicago took it to the next level.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody had a horn section like that.
No kidding.
Or has one like that.
Well, hey, it's good talking to you. Next week, we'll be taking a pass. I won't be here. And so you
can call and talk to me if you want to, Skip. I'll be playing best of all week.
Yeah, call Brian. But still,
call me anytime.
Right.
Still though, send me the text. I want to see what's in the rocket next week. And
will do.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your great editorial work. And thank you for making us think of the band Chicago. And we'll go ahead and let you go now.
And what a lovely tribute to your mom. I appreciate that.
No,
thank you.
That was great. That was really good.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Right.
War Eagle, guys.
Roll Tide. Go Army. All right. That's Skip Vaughn, editor of the Redstone Rocket. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here and take a break.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
Bill Crawford here for the Regenesis Stem Cell Center, the place to go for golfers' elbow pain. Traditional treatments require significant time away from the golf course and often don't work. Dr. Charles Lee can treat golfers' elbow using platelet-rich plasma extracted from the patient's blood and get you back on the golf course after a 2-hour visit. Golfer's elbow can be permanently eliminated for a fixed price of $585. Golf season is here. Enjoy pain-free golf with just one visit to Regenesis.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
The ultimate golf experience is waiting for you at the Golfus. For a limited time, you can get an unlimited membership for only $99 a month. Hit balls on the range, play any of our 2,000 golf courses, have a graduation party, or host a corporate event. For all the details, go to thegolfus.com. We have 2 locations in Huntsville and a location soon coming to Hughes Road in Madison. That's thegolfus.com.
TLG's Next Level software team tackles your automation bottlenecks, saving our customers precious time and money.
This resource is unique to Huntsville and Birmingham, and I urge you to ask about it.
From the largest to the smallest companies, TLG is here for you.
TLG is doing the right thing for all aspects of your company.
Just ask anyone.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Welcome to Southern Wagyu Steakhouse and Meat Market in Huntsville. From hand-cut premium steaks and chef-crafted Southern favorites to phenomenal made-from-scratch desserts and restaurant-quality meats you can take home. Every meal is made with passion and served with genuine Southern hospitality. Join us for lunch or dinner. Attend a monthly 5-course supper club or stop by to stock up your grill. You'll see that we deliver excellence from prep to plate. Southern Wagyu Steakhouse and Meat Market, corner of Highway 72 East and Jordan Road. Come taste the difference.
Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. A couple of isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible across the Tennessee Valley. We drop into the lower 70s as we head into the overnight. Rinse and repeat for your Thursday. Mostly to partly sunny sky climbing into the low 90s with a couple of isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms.
Your Fox 54 forecast. Only on Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody. Talk Radio WZZN, and this is Bill Crawford on The Point with Bill Crawford and producer Brian Temple. Brian, I got to give you a compliment. I just noticed something on the commercial that it looks like you put together for the steakhouse.
Oh, yeah, Southern Wagyu Steakhouse and Meat Market.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, the music in the background of that was from the old Robert Mitchum steak. It's What's for Dinner commercial.
Well, it's Aaron Copland's Rodeo, and it's Sam Elliott was the guy who did the voiceover.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Mitchum.
It may have been, but the one I remember is Sam Elliott.
Beef. It's What's for Dinner.
You know, with a mustache like that, he has to have a voice like that, doesn't he?
He has to have a voice like that. Well, speaking of stuff that we were on top of, I guess, sort of accidentally, if you recall, if you were listening yesterday, we had Andrea Sear, who is the new director of the Veterans Administration Women's Outreach. And just what popped up in the news today is that a entity here in Huntsville, Alabama, which was the Huntsville Military Women's Community Center, had to shut down because they lost their space that they had donated to them to operate and try to help women veterans. Now, this is not sponsored by the Veterans Administration. This is just something that helps about 150 to 200 ladies here in our area who were veterans. And they ran out of funding and they ran out of space. And I notified, by the way, I contacted Andrea this morning and told her about that. She was not aware of it, and she was really appreciative of me letting her know that had in fact occurred. And she's going to see what, if anything, she can do to help this organization out. So I just thought that was interesting that we talked about it yesterday. And
that's what we do to be part of a community, It's because that's what a community does. It recognizes a need and goes, oh, I know someone who can help with that, and puts those pieces together. That's what we want to be for you guys here at Talk Radio WZZN. If you see something, let us know. Odds are we've met somebody that might be able to help. Or if you're someone who can help, we probably have talked to someone who has a need, and we want to be that hub for you guys.
Well, that's what we're trying to do, Brian, and hopefully we can keep on trying to do that. One other thing I noticed is driving into the station today, and there was actually an article about it, and that is the Sandra Moon Community Complex, which is in South Huntsville, where old Grissom High School used to be.
That's coming together very well.
Yeah, it's almost done, and it's a 34-acre site, and it has the new Huntsville South Madison Public Library, a 92,000 square foot recreation and performing arts center that has 618 seats. Now that
I was glad to see they kept and rehabbed that performing arts center over there. That theater has a lot of history in it.
Well, and they've actually made it better. You know, if you've seen some of the pictures inside, that's going to be, it's not the Civic Center. It's not the Mark Smith Hall or anything like that. It doesn't have that capacity. But there are lots and lots of organizations within Huntsville, you know, some of the community playhouses, things of that nature, that will be able to put that to good use.
What was one of our guests last week with the Brass Band of Huntsville?
Yeah.
That is their home base.
Right.
That Performing Arts Center. So if you're looking for them, that's where they're going to be.
I think his name was Mr. Eversmeyer, if I'm
Eversmeyer, that's right. It was the Brass Band of Huntsville. And I remember him all of a sudden it clicked that they were talking about that.
Yeah, that's where they're going to be.
I think, aren't they playing? I think he said they're going to play the opening, and that's going to be their home base.
That is indeed going to be their home base. And
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, glad that can happen. Couple of other items that are in the news. Once again, nobody's called me about this. I think I could tell them who could fix it, but they're draining the reflection pool in D.C. once again. I think they should call the people who help me out, A&C Pools. They can make any green pool look sparkling. And
well, I mean, if the coating itself was fine, if they had installed it correctly,
right?
Because they didn't prep the surface right. Now, of course, one of the things I saw, I was reading back about it, the history of it, actually the fact that it leaked was good because it meant they replaced a certain amount of water at intervals, which kept the algae bloom down.
Well, and plus that, I don't think there's a circulation system in that reflecting pond.
There is not, because it would cause
reflect.
Ripples and it wouldn't reflect.
Well, when you don't have water moving in something like that, it's going to get stagnant. It's going to get algae in it.
And you remember they built Washington, D.C. on a swamp, and swamp has two things, alligators and mosquitoes. And I don't want either one of those on the National Mall in Washington, D.C.
And you know what? I don't either. And speaking of critters, one thing I noticed recently was, especially given the fact that we lost power around here. You know, why did we lose power? Well, in the Virginian Shenandoah Valley, after midnight on July 1st, they lost power for 6,500 customers, and we were joking about that, saying it must have been a critter that got in there, or a squirrel that ate through a wire or something like that. Well, what caused the Shenandoah Valley to lose power was a snake. Big, huge snake nested up in the power stuff.
You'll be surprised how conductive snakes are.
Yes. Yeah, well, he just laid on top of an alarm system that shut it down. So, don't know what shut us down in Huntsville today, but it
roasted rattler. Anyone?
There you go. All right, let's take a break. Let's come back and wrap this hour up.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
This is Bill Crawford, host of The Point on Talk Radio WZZN. I've recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information. destination.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all, with features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he could take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well, because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
He's still a soldier. His blood runs red, white, and blue.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the Wednesday edition of The Point with Bill Crawford, along with producer Brian Temple. We are glad you are with us today. Throughout the next hour, if you want to give us a call us at 256-382-0724. We'd be glad to hear what you have to say about what we have to say, or what you have to say about anything else that you would like to talk about.
And we have our surprise guest coming up for the next hour with interesting, something that's brand new and has taken advantage of it. And it's going to give us an idea about something very new coming from the federal government that will be good for your kids and grandkids. So be sure to hang around with us for hour 2 of The Point with Bill Crawford.
Well, I certainly hope it will be good, but we're going to talk about that in hour number 2. We had Skip Vaughn on hour number 1. Be sure to go to the Redstone Rocket online and read his lead story about the history of Redstone Arsenal. It's very fascinating. 85 years ago, July 3rd, it was birthed. So, we'll be back in a little bit, folks, for hour number 2 of The Point with Bill Crawford and Brian Temple, and we are gone. Talk to you in a little bit.
News is next, along with 1819 News. See you then.
This is Talk Radio, WZZN.
Have you tried indoor golf yet? You need to check out The Golfus. The Golfus is Huntsville's newest, nicest, and only multi-location indoor golf venue. Spend an hour on the virtual range working on your game or play more than 2,000 golf courses. Our grand opening pricing makes us the best value in town. And if you really love it, grab a limited time, unlimited golf membership for only $99 a month. Get all of the details at thegolfus.com.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
HD 97.7.2, WZZN FM Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Talk Radio, WZZN.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks are falling in afternoon trading with the Dow sharply lower as the ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran unravels, reviving investors' fears. As a result, oil prices are jumping and driving inflation worries. West Texas Intermediate crude is nearing $76 a barrel, the highest level in 3 weeks. Higher oil prices complicate the Fed's path. And speaking of the Fed, this afternoon, the minutes from Kevin Warsh's first Federal Reserve policy meeting were released and were only modestly shorter than average. They also revealed policymakers remain divided over the path of interest rates. And shares of Broadcom are surging over 4% after Apple announced plans to spend upwards of $30 billion on U.S.-made chips from the chip maker. The agreement will enable Broadcom to expand and modernize its manufacturing facilities in Fort Collins, Colorado. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit NobleGoldInvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment.
This is Talk Radio, WZZN.
1819 News.
Alabama State Auditor Andrew Sorrell says that messaging was victorious in the recent primary campaigns here in the state. Sorrell says despite millions of dollars being thrown at various campaigns, it was a conservative message that won the day. He spoke about it on FM Talk 106.5 out of Mobile with host Jeff Poore.
We've got some real conservatives headed to D.C. to represent us. And I think what you saw was Montgomery's special interest losing power this election cycle. Many of their candidates just did not win, and it didn't matter how much money they pumped in. You saw that in legislative races where candidates were outspent, $1 million to $200,000. For that matter, I was outspent $1.1 million to $180,000, and I was able to get 68%. In my primary for re-election as state auditor. So, money has always been important in politics. It's certainly not everything. And I think what you saw this cycle was messaging was more important than money. Having the right conservative message and appealing to the grassroots in the state, that's what actually mattered this election cycle, not just running, 3 TV ads every 30-minute news segment.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
The news cycle can be overwhelming, to say the least. Andrea Tice cuts through all the noise with the Daily Detail from 1819 News. Alabama and national news in just 10 to 15 minutes. What you need to know before you start your day. Find the Daily Detail wherever you get your podcast.
The city of Athens is getting ready to host the USSSA All-Star World Series softball tournament that will be starting at the end of this week. The 50 youth softball teams will be competing at the Athens Sportsplex from Thursday through Saturday. The city will see an influx of hotel and restaurant activity as this major sports event gets underway. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This is Talk Radio, WZZN.
Tom Abraham here for my good friend Bobby White at Lynn Leighton Ford, where you never find some mysterious dock fee that can be like $600, $700, or $800. A dock fee is an add-on that some dealers will charge just to do the paperwork on your deal. Now, Wes and I just bought F-150s at Lynn Leighton, and we're amazed at the ease of getting the deal done. Transparency is important in buying these days, and that's what you get at Lynn Leighton Ford in Decatur. Lynn Leighton offers an extensive new and pre-owned inventory, as well as lease specials, finance options, and expert auto service. They are dedicated to providing exceptional customer service and are an integral part of our community. Believe me, it is worth the short ride over to Decatur to see what Lynn Leighton Ford has to offer, just a mile west of the Beltline on 6th. At Lynn Leighton, there are no mystery fees, just great prices. It's the Lynn Leighton way. We made the move, and so should you, to Lynn Leighton Ford.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This summer, we make HVAC history as Sensagreen Heating, Cooling, and Insulation celebrates our country's 250th birthday. Happy birthday, America! In honor of crossing the Delaware River and kicking Cornwallis out of Yorktown, Sensagreen now offers $1,776 off new HVAC systems. Give me liberty and a new HVAC smart system this summer at Sensagreen with Brian. Whatever it takes, just like our founding fathers. USA! USA! USA!
Alabama license number 12705/52808.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. A couple of isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible across the Tennessee Valley. We drop into the lower 70s as we head into the overnight. Rinse and repeat for your Thursday. Mostly to partly sunny sky climbing into the low 90s with a couple of isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms.
Your Fox 54 forecast. Only on Talk Radio WZZN. This is The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN. A compassionate, conservative, reasoned voice. Not just for today's headlines, but for issues that matter to you. Perspective from a distinguished career of service in the U.S. Army. Courage from hours in the pilot seat of a military helicopter in war and in peace. Knowledge of cultures from around the world. Experience from a lifetime of service to America. What matters to you, from the dinner table to the halls of power. Conservative, compassionate, reason. That's The Point.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Talk Radio WZZN, and this is The Point with Bill Crawford. We're coming to you today from lovely Hunts Vegas, Alabama, where it is a blistering 89 degrees outside. Clouds popping up hither and yon. There will be the possibility of scattered thunderstorms throughout the afternoon, but don't let that scare you off from listening to us, or don't let that scare you from doing anything you want to do. If it rains a little bit, it'll go away pretty soon. Well, now I'm going to talk about something, and then we're going to have a special guest on to give a little more information on it. And I will start this little segment by stating without doubt and with all clarity that I'm not a financial advisor, but I stumbled upon this And to me, it's newsworthy and it's worth reporting on. And that is something that is called the Trump accounts. And the Trump accounts are actually for kids, and they've gotten a lot of attention, but I haven't learned about them until just recently. And it's a program that is designed to help children begin by building wealth early in their life. And it's an account that's a long-term investment account that actually belongs to the child. And what happens, instead of putting money in a traditional savings or an IRA or something like that, that doesn't generate a lot of interest income, this money is invested in the stock market, and it's in a index fund with the hope that it's going to grow over the years and turn into a lot of money. This program was created as a part of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act and officially launched in 2026. And if children meet certain eligibility requirements, they can have an account established in their name with adults managing it until the child reaches the age of 18. I didn't know about this at all, but it's out there and it's real. But children who are U.S. citizens and who were born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028 are eligible for a free $1,000 federal deposit into their account. And the money's going to start growing immediately. And also, parents, grandparents, friends, relatives, anybody can contribute money into this account, the Trump accounts for kids. And currently the limit is it can only have donations from private sources of up to $5,000 per year. Not bad. And historically, diversified stock market investments are generally produce higher long-term returns than just a traditional savings account. Although, as with any investment in the stock market, there's a lot of risk because the market can rise and fall. And supposedly these accounts receive favorable tax treatment. The investment earnings can grow tax-deferred while the child is young, somewhat similar to how retirement accounts work. Now, some critics say, well, why should the government be funding this kind of stuff at all? And other people point out this is really going to benefit those who have a little bit more money. And the thing I wondered is, how's this going to work? Who's going to manage these accounts? Well, the program is going to be overseen by the U.S. Department of Treasury, which establishes the accounts and set the rules. And the main financial partner of the Treasury is Mellon Investments, also an investment company called Robinhood. And the parents or legal guardians are responsible for opening the account, selecting the improved investment options, and managing the account until the child reaches adulthood. And one thing I was wondering also is, where's this money invested? And how do you know it's going to work? Well, the law that establishes this limits investments to broad, low-cost U.S. stock index funds. And again, I'm going to read something now. I'm not an expert on this, but the current approved funds for investment of one of these accounts for kids is State Street Global Advisors, BlackRock iShares, Vanguard Total Stock, State Street S&P, and BlackRock iShares Core. So who's going to make money? Because, you have to think that people aren't just doing this out of the goodness of their heart, especially if the government's involved. So who's going to make money out of it? Well, the firms that I just listed are going to make a traditional fee that normally one gets for managing a fund, and they're not that big. They're usually about 0.02 to 0.03% per year for the approved funds. And again, that's kind of sort of in line with all these other funds that people manage that the company gets a cut of, but it's not a very big cut. Also, one thing I wondered is the federal government going to make money off of this? No. The government actually is a contributor. They can contribute the initial $1,000, but they do not receive any of the investment profits or the management fees. The role of the government in these Trump kids accounts is solely administrative and regulatory. So, one question I'm sure people might be thinking, they say, well, so what's Donald Trump going to make off this? Well, there is no provision in this law that directs investment management fees, commissions, or royalties to President Trump, his family, the Trump organization, or organizations simply because they are called Trump accounts. Any earnings to these investments belong to the child, subject to the account's rules, and that's kind of how those things work. I've seen some numbers on this where if you put the $5,000 a year in it from age literally of less than 1 to age 18, your child is going to graduate from college or enter college with about $1 million in the bank. And we hope that that is true. We hope that that is the case. But again, this is something I didn't know about, and I thought people might want to know about it because I frankly haven't heard any news source whatsoever do any type of discussion on this. I just kind of found out about it by happenstance, and we will see if this actually becomes an investment vehicle that people and families will be using throughout the year. Maybe your family will say, hey, instead of a birthday present, put some money in my Trump accounts for kids. I think that might be a viable option rather than buying a teddy bear or a Lego set or a new bicycle or some of the stuff like that. Just put some money in their account. And we're going to come back in a bit, and we're going to hopefully be able to talk to somebody about how this actually is going to work and what attracted them to that account. And Brian, let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll come back, and we'll be joined by our special guest, hopefully, to talk about this.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
Bill Crawford here for the Regenesis Stem Cell Center, the place to go for golfers' elbow pain. Traditional treatments require significant time away from the golf course and often don't work. Dr. Charles Lee can treat golfers' elbow using platelet-rich plasma extracted from the patient's blood and get you back on the golf course after a 2-hour visit. Golfers' elbow can be permanently eliminated for a fixed price of $585. Golf season is here. Enjoy pain-free golf with just one visit to Regenesis.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is Jen with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Y'all need to come join us. We have so many fun things every night of the week. From Monday night, steak night, Tuesday night, karaoke, Wednesday night, we have Singo Bingo, Thursday night is bike night. Of course, we've got live music on the weekends, so y'all come join us. Meridian Street Crossing, we've got Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Come on next door to the Rocket City Honky Tonk, where we've got honky tonk music all night long. Y'all come join us. We'd love to see you.
This summer, we make HVAC history as Sensagreen Heating, Cooling, and Insulation celebrates our country's 250th birthday. Happy birthday, America! In honor of crossing the Delaware River and kicking Cornwallis out of Yorktown, Sensagreen now offers $1,776 off new HVAC systems. Give me liberty and a new HVAC smart system this summer at Sensagreen with Brian. Whatever it takes, just like our founding fathers. USA! USA! USA!
Alabama license number 12705/52808.
This is Jen with The Haven, a private event space located downtown Huntsville. If you haven't been before, this is the perfect spot for your event. Whether it's Christmas, the holidays, birthdays, weddings, rehearsal dinners, you name it, I can provide that perfect event for you. We tailor everything just for your needs, from food to flowers to the band to drinks. You name it, we've got it. The Haven, located at Meridian Crossings, downtown Huntsville.
At the Huntsville Sports Commission, we do sports. The Rocket City is your destination for world-class sports in North Alabama. The Huntsville Sports Commission brings elite tournaments, championships, and other exciting athletic events to our city. From youth leagues to national championships, we're driving tourism, boosting local business, and building a stronger, more active community. When you team up with us, we'll worry about the details so you don't have to. We do sports.
Baumhauer's Restaurant, legendary food and legendary fun. Whether you're craving the freshest seafood from Alabama's Gulf Coast, juicy chicken or char-grilled steaks seared to suck into perfection, you're craving Baumhauer's Restaurant. Add to that a sports-themed atmosphere and HD flat screens every place you look. For a sneak peek at the menu, go to baumhauers.com. Legendary food, legendary fun. Baumhauer's Restaurant.
Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody. This is The Point with Bill Crawford, and we are waiting on our special guest to give us a call. But as we do that, I want to talk to you a little bit about one of the things I like to do on the show, which is On This Day in History. And on this day in history, in 1896, William Jennings Bryan, who was just a state representative from from Nebraska, at the Democratic Convention, delivered his famous Cross of Gold speech. And essentially what he said was, "You shall not crucify mankind upon a cross of gold." So what in the heck was that all about anyway? Well, at that juncture, America was on the gold standard. That's what the gold standard was every bit of currency, paper currency that was issued by America was backed up by an equal amount of gold in the Federal Reserve, stored at many places such as Fort Knox and New York City. And America was divided over that. There were a lot of people who thought that there should be another standard. They called it bimetallism, which means using two metals to back the currency, and they wanted to use both gold and silver. Well, what happened was Bryan became so popular after that speech that he actually went into the convention with little support, but he came out as the nominee for president, which he subsequently lost to William McKinley, and the U.S. formally adopted the gold standard. And by the way, you can still, in fact, I've got a couple of these squirreled away somewhere, and they're pretty valuable. You can still find paper currency that says gold certificate on it, which means that was a piece of currency that was backed up solely by gold. And you can also, later on, you can find silver certificates, which was currency that was backed up by actual silver. So there's a little offshoot to that little debate about gold versus silver, which I think is fairly interesting. And that has to do with one of my favorite movies of all time, which is The Wizard of Oz. Now, a lot of people say, The Wizard of Oz, that's just a movie about a carefree little girl who gets caught up in a big tornado and is dumped into a place called Oz, where she encounters many strange and wonderful things. But is that really the case? Is that really what Frank Baum was wanting to convey when he wrote that story? First of all, let's think about Oz, O-Z. What is that? That is the abbreviation for ounce, which is how gold was actually measured and is still measured today. And a lot of historians think that Baum wanted Dorothy to represent just the average American person, honest, practical, and just trying to find her way home on the yellow brick road, which, according to many, is actually a representation of the gold standard that America was on. And you may recall that I said that there was bimetallism going on, where some people said we needed to use both silver and gold. Well, in the movie Wizard of Oz, you will notice that Dorothy wears ruby slippers as she dances down the, quote, golden road that leads to the Emerald City. But in the book, her silvers were silver. Silver slippers on a golden road that leads to the Emerald City. And then she encounters quite a few strange characters. The first one she encounters is the Scarecrow. The Scarecrow was supposedly dim-witted and didn't know what was going on and didn't have any brains. And many who have analyzed this story say that Baum was using the Scarecrow as a representation of the uneducated and unsophisticated American farmer. Even though, at the end of the day, it turned out that the old Scarecrow, just like the average American farmer, had a lot of good common sense about him. The Tin Man. Who did the Tin Man represent? The Tin Man was rusted, immobilized. He couldn't work. He had to have oil. And he represented laborers whose jobs had been halted by an economic depression. And the old Cowardly Lion, the Cowardly Lion was supposedly William Jennings Bryan himself. Well, what about the Wizard? The Wizard represented American politicians who essentially lied to the people, deceived them, kept them off balance by doing many, many things to trick them, to flash, dash, and panache. And the Wizard was the representation of the politicians in D.C. And the Emerald City is the place that had the illusion of wealth itself. And the Emerald City was also colored green, which was the color of paper currency. And what ends up happening when Dorothy goes to see the Wizard, or in other words, the average American goes to see the politician, a couple of things happened that Baum felt might represent America. One was he pulled back the curtain and there was nothing there. And she went to see him to get her little reward and was told, I don't really have anything for you. There's nothing in that little black bag for you at all, which was pretty much the representation of, again, according to some, was the representation of the politicians and their hollow promises, and the gold standard being the yellow brick road that led to nowhere. And that's, a lot of people think that's true, and if you think about it, there is some analogy in there that it's kind of metaphorical, but it also makes it kind of interesting, and it makes you wonder if that story was actually written with those kind of thoughts in mind. I'm not the only one who thought that up. I've heard it all my life, and I did a little research on it. What do you think, Brian? Do you think that's hogwash, or do you think there's anything to it?
Well, I mean, of course I'm going to be skeptical. Because
that's your job.
That's what I do. That's one of my things, is to be the sarcastic voice on the other side. No, if you know the history of that time, you can see those people and those characters. But that said, you can, if you squint hard enough, then you can find anything you wanted, anything at all. So, like, if you squint hard enough, I'm handsome. So that's why I never want my wife to get her eyesight fixed. But, it's hard to say. I mean, I've heard that before. I think it kind of gets in the way of a good movie, but there are lessons to be learned that could also be learned by hanging your currency on a hard metal. I personally like the gold standard because right now our money is only worth something because we say it is. Talk about the Wizard of Oz. It's only worth something because he says it is. So,
that's right.
That is exactly what inflation is.
Well, one thing I had a little kid ask me one time, and he said, "What is money?" And you know what? That's a tough question.
What a beautiful concept.
Yeah.
What is money?
What is money? Well, money is this piece of paper right here, or it's Bitcoin, or it's currency, or it's all these other things that are evolving nowadays. Do we have our own Wizard of Oz scenario going on right now with Bitcoin and some of the fake stuff that's going on with that?
Speaking of Bitcoin, talk about something that's made of nothing. It's only worth something what somebody else with a computer thinks it's worth.
Well, I've told you my thoughts on that before. I think Bitcoin is literally it's kind of like baseball cards or art. A famous work of art is probably worth a lot of money to someone who thinks a famous work of art is worth a lot of money. Yep. And a baseball card of Honus Wagner, somebody might pay you $1 million for it. And somebody might say, I'm not going to give you any money for that. It's just a baseball card. It's worth nothing unless somebody thinks it is. So,
well, look at it this way. How many iconic photos have we seen? People holding up newspapers, the front page of newspapers. The end of World War II. Truman holding up the newspaper says Dewey wins. All those things. That's a very valuable newspaper.
That one is.
But also, I guarantee you, those same newspaper, somebody wrapped a fish in it. So it all depends how valuable it is on who's using it.
Well, there is one, I have seen one copy of this before in my life, and that is the year Kennedy was assassinated. Life magazine had pre-produced a story, and the lead cover on the story was Roger Staubach in the Army-Navy game. And obviously that was pulled.
That was scrapped, yeah.
That was scrapped, but there are supposedly 1,000 or so copies of that still exist. So I don't know. I'd like to get my hands on one of those, but somehow I don't think I'm the kind of guy who's going to stumble into a yard sale and find a treasure like that and pay $2 for it and it's worth millions of dollars. That just is not going to happen in my little life. So,
the Declaration of Independence, the most valuable piece of paper in our history. Before anybody put a pen on it, just another piece of paper.
Well, that's another thing.
It could have been any other piece of paper.
It just could have been a piece of paper. That's another thing that happened on this day. 4 days after Independence Day was the first time the Declaration of Independence was read in public by a colonel named John Nixon in Philadelphia. Yep. And after he read the Declaration, a bell tolled in the plaza, signifying the fact that the country was now declaring itself independent, which we now know as the Liberty Bell.
Well, there you go.
There you go. So I guess we need to take a break and see.
I tell you what, let's see if our mystery guest has done talking to the colonel yet, and see if he's available. We'll take a break. And there's one other thing that you made me think about with the Wizard of Oz. It made me think about me getting started in broadcasting. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
This is Bill Crawford, host of The Point on Talk Radio WZZN. I've recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
When a team sticks together, it shows in the way they work and the way they treat you.
We don't just hire great people, they stay. On average, our managers have been with us over 15 years, and company-wide turnover is under 3%.
It's a culture built on integrity and heart.
When you call, you get someone who knows your name, understands your business, and is invested in your success.
And that means service you can count on every time.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
This is Jen with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Y'all need to come join us. We have so many fun things every night of the week. From Monday night, steak night, Tuesday night, karaoke, Wednesday night, we have Singo Bingo, Thursday night is bike night. Of course, we've got live music on the weekends, so y'all come join us. Meridian Street Crossing, we've got Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Come on next door to the Rocket City Honky Tonk, where we've got honky tonk music all night long. Y'all come join us. We'd love to see you.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
We have been selling printer supplies for 50 years. Today, we've made it easier than ever to make sure our customers get the best price and the best support.
You can order supplies online with our guaranteed low prices, saving 40% and getting our award-winning on-site service for free.
There's no catch. Ask any of our customers. We want to be more than just a vendor. We want to be a partner in your success.
Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Fox 54 Weather Impact meteorologist Emily Owen. A quiet night ahead of us. Across the Tennessee Valley, temperatures will be falling into the upper 60s. Heading into our Thursday, a few showers and maybe even thunderstorms will move across the area. Most areas will stay dry. High temperatures warm into the upper 80s for the afternoon.
Your Fox 54 forecast, only on Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Wednesday, July the 8th, and it is 89 degrees outside, and it's hot, and it's going to get hotter, and it's going to get hotter still. We have our friend Jordan Dressman, Fox 54 Impact meteorologist, to thank for that, but that's okay. It's supposed to be that way.
He's supposed to be joining us tomorrow, scheduled to appear, so you can call and tell him what you think about all this heat. Starting at the 3 o'clock hour in The Point with Bill Crawford tomorrow.
Yeah, we like to have Jordan on every week. We blame him for the weather, although we know he's just reporting it. He has nothing whatsoever that he can do to change the weather.
Of course, we give him credit for the good weather, too. So
That's true.
I think that's why he keeps coming back.
Well, I think he also keeps coming back because he likes to tell us what he's cooking on the grill that weekend.
Well, I like hearing about it.
I do, too. Well,
So before we get started, Have the fireworks calmed down in your neighborhood?
Yes, they're gone.
I noticed on Monday night there were a couple, and I kind of let it go because, all right, maybe they're just finishing up the rest of their stash. But last night, they still had some big ones in their stash, and I had to peel the dog off the roof again. So hopefully this is the end of it. July 7th isn't much of a fireworks holiday.
No, it's not much of a fireworks holiday, and whatever.
Same for Mother's Day.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing where I might pick up the phone and make a call and say, "Hey, come on, folks."
Well, it didn't last for. I mean, they were respectful. I didn't hear any after 9 o'clock, so I'm kind of willing to let it go. As long as tonight is quiet, I think we're all right.
I think we're all right too. Somebody who's not all right. I saw this on the news, and I'm going, my gosh. Is anybody ever going to live in this place? But in Midtown Manhattan, Pfizer's headquarters it's on 231st East 42nd Street, which, if you're familiar with the city, that's right smack dab in the middle of everything that is.
It's right in Midtown, yeah.
Right in Midtown. Did you see the story about that building that's unstable?
No, but yes, I did. That it's kind of falling apart.
Well, it's falling apart, and they are trying to turn it from Pfizer's headquarters into 1,600 apartment units.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a massively expensive thing to do. And I dare say that there's probably not a whole heck of a lot of people when all is said and done that say, oh, yeah, sign me up. That's where I want to go live, the building that almost fell down. I suspect that is going to be an implosion, and that building is going to be demolished. And
there is one building in Midtown Manhattan that, excuse me, I'm a little flat-footed, and I'm trying not to confuse it with hearsay. But there's another building that it's not occupied for a similar reason, and there's not enough room to tear it down. And it's not cost-effective to tear it down. So it's just sitting there empty.
Just sitting there empty, waiting to cave in one day.
Or something happened, natural disaster, whatever. So it's just, shoddy work, poor oversight. Next thing you know, you got thousands of tons of concrete sitting there waiting to fall apart over your head.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen in Huntsville, Alabama here today on National Ice Cream Sunday Day.
Ooh.
That's one I
can get behind that.
I can get behind that big time.
I wonder if our friends over at Handel's would help us celebrate with that.
I would imagine they would.
Yeah, if you're in South Huntsville, and I intend to be later on today, over on 4 Mile Post there, Handel's is over there. That's a really good ice cream.
Well, they actually, for people such as myself, they have some sugar-free ice cream, too.
Ooh, and that's something I need to explore.
Yeah, that is something.
Because we're watching sugar at our house. I mean, we're getting to be what people refer to as middle-aged, where the doctor starts, looking, giving you a side eye when you go in the office. You need to watch yourself. So, yeah, if it's as good as the rest of the stuff or close to it, I'm going to be very happy. I need to go over there.
Yeah,
I haven't been there in a minute.
That is a good little place. That's one of the places when the weather is not so hot that I take my little dachshund to that park and walk him around, and nothing concludes a walk better than some fresh ice cream from Handel's.
Hey, folks at Handel's, we're always looking for sponsors, and Bill and I could take really good care of you here on the Point of Crawford.
Yeah, we certainly.
If you want to go be we've got deals for everybody. So, if you want to come on and be a sponsor, that'd be fine. We'd love to talk to you.
We would.
And you could probably pay us an ice cream.
You could pay me an ice cream.
Well, me too. I work. You'd be surprised at how well I work for ice cream.
Yeah, black cherry is my favorite ice cream.
Good choice. I'm a butter pecan man myself.
I don't like butter pecan.
Well, more for me.
Well, more for you. Another thing in the world of food, I went the other day and had some wings at, of all places, Red Robin, which is not known for their wings. Some of the best.
Not to be discounted, though.
Not to be discounted. Some of the best wings I have ever had.
Hey, Red Robin, we were always looking for sponsors.
Yeah, we'll talk about you very nicely.
You can pay us in wings.
Well, their wings are made with Frank's hot sauce.
Oh, a good choice.
A good choice.
That's my go-to.
And guess what happened on I-71 in Delaware County, Ohio last week?
Do we have significantly less Frank's Red Hot Sauce
40,000 pounds of Frank's hot sauce leaked out of a truck on the interstate. And it just began leaking as the truck traveled north, and the firemen followed the trail to a nearby hot truck stop where it had all leaked out. Amazing. And there was a lot of damage. Some cars had some damage. Nobody stopped, I guess, and scooped any of it up and tried to salvage it. But
I bet it's going to be tough for snow to stick to that part of the road.
I would imagine so. But 40,000 pounds of hot sauce, that's a lot.
That's a lot of hot sauce.
That's a lot. And
that's like a couple of years for me.
Well, the thing I was wondering is, I don't know how hot sauce is transported, but I wonder if it's transported in a tank like oil or something.
Some of it is done like that, but a lot of it all depends on whether or not it's packaged.
Yeah.
After it's packaged, it's done like a box truck like everything else.
I would have to think it wouldn't be packaged.
But if it's going to leak out like that, I imagine it was a tanker.
I imagine it was a tanker.
Or like some sort of vat or something inside a box truck.
Something that allowed it all to leak, because I can't imagine that thousands and thousands.
I wonder if it pulls the paint off the car.
I think it would. I wouldn't want to find out at all.
No.
Well, let's take a break, Brian, and we'll come back and sort of get ready to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, we'll do a leisurely stroll to the end of the point with Bill Crawford.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
Bill Crawford here for the Regenesis Stem Cell Center, the place to go for golfers' elbow pain. Traditional treatments require significant time away from the golf course and often don't work. Dr. Charles Lee can treat golfers' elbow using platelet-rich plasma extracted from the patient's blood and get you back on the golf course after a 2-hour visit. Golfer's elbow can be permanently eliminated for a fixed price of $585. Golf season is here. Enjoy pain-free golf with just one visit to Regenesis.
This is Jen with The Haven, a private event space located downtown Huntsville. If you haven't been before, this is the perfect spot for your event. Whether it's Christmas, the holidays, birthdays, weddings, rehearsal dinners, you name it, I can provide that perfect event for you. We tailor everything just for your needs, from food to flowers to the band to drinks. You name it, we've got it. The Haven, located at Meridian Crossings, downtown Huntsville.
Welcome to Southern Wagyu Steakhouse and Meat Market in Huntsville. From hand-cut premium steaks and chef-crafted Southern favorites to phenomenal made-from-scratch desserts and restaurant-quality meats you can take home. Every meal is made with passion and served with genuine Southern hospitality. Join us for lunch or dinner. Attend a monthly 5-course supper club or stop by to stock up your grill. You'll see that we deliver excellence from prep to plate. Southern Wagyu Steakhouse and Meat Market, corner of Highway 72 East and Jordan Road. Come taste the difference.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This summer, we make HVAC history as Sensagreen Heating, Cooling, and Insulation celebrates our country's 250th birthday. Happy birthday, America! In honor of crossing the Delaware River and kicking Cornwallis out of Yorktown, Sensagreen now offers $1,776 off new HVAC systems. Give me liberty and a new HVAC smart system this summer at Sensagreen with Bryant. Whatever it takes, just like our founding fathers. USA! USA! USA!
Alabama license number 12705/52808.
This is Jen with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Y'all need to come join us. We have so many fun things every night of the week. From Monday night, steak night, Tuesday night, karaoke, Wednesday night, we have Singo Bingo, Thursday night is bike night. Of course, we've got live music on the weekends, so y'all come join us. Meridian Street Crossing, we've got Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Come on next door to the Rocket City Honky Tonk, where we've got honky tonk music all night long. Y'all come join us. We'd love to see you.
Hey everyone. Let's all stop what we're doing right now and take a moment. That felt good, huh? Just like that, we had a nice special sort of moment together. Of course, they don't all need to be quiet moments to be special. They could be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. Sounds like somebody agrees. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Today, call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
And I'm still hoping, waiting, praying I did not die in vain.
Welcome back, everybody. This is The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN. And producer Brian and I almost had a little fun right there. We
almost had another surprise guest.
Yeah, we almost had somebody cold call us about selling real estate.
Yeah, a real estate company, and he wouldn't say which one. Hold on a second. But, he got cold feet, and he doesn't want to visit with you guys.
Yeah, we wanted to hear what he had to say. Imagine his surprise when he finds out he's on the radio. But put him on hold, and he went goodbye. I think our special guest is just not going to be able to join us today. But
that kernel on that bird on that guy's shoulder needs a lot of attention. So I don't blame our special guest for not making it. Hopefully he'll be able to be with us soon and explain talk about what he was talking about.
Well, the full bird call rank on the person that was talking to him greatly outranks the gold oak leaf cluster on my shoulder. So
yep.
So let's just cover some more stuff that's interesting. We were talking about fireworks, and this happened on the 4th of July, and this happened at Chicago's Midway Airport, where Flight 106, which was departing, was on final approach when they were shot at with fireworks. And
see, that's not good.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's just kind of stupid. And it kind of reminded me of back in the day when I was out at the arsenal working on stuff and we were fighting bad guys. The bad guys over in Iraq and Afghanistan would determine which way our helicopters were going to be landing, and they would sit out there with explosive devices that essentially were just like fireworks, and they would just launch them blindly up in the air and hope to take our helicopters.
Just in the approach path.
Just in the approach path. And I actually solved that little problem. I said, hey, all you got to do is change the landing direction frequently because, aircraft land into the wind, but helicopters can be pretty flexible about that. And that's what they did, and the problem went away, and the Afghanis decided that was not a good way to...
Too much trouble. No more trouble than it's worth.
They go set up somewhere, and the aircraft comes in a different way that, you don't even have to come in a helicopter in line with the runway. You can come in from any angle. So we, as in me, outfoxed them. Another thing that happened on the 4th of July that happened due to fireworks was in San Francisco. Now, I was out there a couple of years ago for visiting my son who was in school at Monterey out there at Naval Postgrad. And I saw the first. Have you ever seen one of the self-driving taxis? They're called Waymos.
I have not no one except like on videos on the internet.
Yeah, well, they're a car. There's nobody in it. There's a rotating beacon on the top, which essentially is a radar that helps that car go where it's supposed to go.
Right.
But guess what happens when you have fireworks sometimes and everybody's trying to exit where the fireworks are being done? You get a traffic jam. And what happens with the driverless cars and the Waymos is that kind of confuses them. And they all backed up and they all sat there. The people within the Waymos, there's nothing they can do because the cars are just sitting there.
Right.
And that they could, in fact, get out, which many of them did. But the cars sat there. They were all electric powered, and they sat there till their batteries expired.
Huh.
And then they had to go get 18-wheeler flatbeds and haul them off to wherever you haul
to
off.
The charging station.
To the charging station. So yet another example of why I'm really not fond of the electric cars, and I'm certainly not. I don't think I would trust a driverless car at all.
My brother-in-law lives in California, lives in Fresno, but he and his wife like to go down to the San Francisco area, and they like to take regular cabs places when they get there, and the cab drivers there call them Roomba taxis.
Why
like the Roomba automatic electric vacuum cleaners. They call them Roomba taxis.
Well, that's a pretty creative thing to call.
If there's no driver in your car, how are you going to get something like that?
I don't know.
And besides, one of the great things in my trips to Las Vegas, one of my favorite things was getting in with the cab drivers because these guys know where everything is and they know all sorts of stuff. And you meet great people that way. And and when you're stuck in traffic, he goes, "I got a better way. Hang on," and they could think about it. And the Roomba taxis couldn't get out of a traffic jam.
No, they're only one way that they know. And actually, the last time I was in San Francisco, we took a regular taxi somewhere, and lo and behold, the taxi driver had a Brazilian flag hanging from his rearview mirror. And as you listeners may know, I know you know, Brian, that's one of the things I can do is speak Portuguese. So that's the last time in many, many years that I have had a chance to practice my Portuguese language, and it came right back. It was amazing. It just popped right back in.
Well, there you go. The old muscle memory in the gray cells.
The muscle memory came through, as it does in German sometimes also. And, it's hot here, but it's really hot in Europe. And one of the things I think is funny is when I lived over in Europe, in Germany, there was no air conditioning, nowhere. Nobody had air conditioning. None of the buildings that we worked in had air conditioning. And in this heat wave in France, they said, we don't need air conditioning there. But guess what? About 24% of the houses over in France have air conditioning, and after this heat wave, they're scrambling to get it.
Right.
If you have window air conditioners for sale over there, you are going to make a boatload of money because it's just that hot.
I wonder how many of the houses over there with air conditioning is all expats, people who've lived other places and have to have air conditioning when they get there.
I would dare say that most everybody that has air conditioning over there is from America. It's got to be.
Americans don't tolerate that. We'll have to have air conditioning.
We have to have air conditioning.
We have a very narrow range of temperatures we can survive in.
Well, not only that, we have our pets, and our pets will not tolerate being hot.
Right.
So who knows? But the French people now are saying, Lulu, we need the air conditioning. It is very, very hot over here. And
your face showed.
Yeah, very, very hot. And one other thing I noticed in the news that's kind of interesting is one of my favorite people is old Charles Barkley. Good old Chuck Barkley. He was invited to the wonderful wedding of Travis Kelce and
Taylor Swift. And he said, I did get an invite, but you know what? I ain't going. It's just too much. He said it was just too much going on, and it was something he did not want to do. I just wonder if Charles Barkley will ever return to the state of Alabama and
try to throw his hat. I don't know. I guess he wouldn't pass the residency requirement right now if he's going to do that.
No, it all depends because he's maintained a residence in Leeds for a long time.
Yeah.
And was part of the sheriff, like a reserve deputy or something with the sheriff's department over there for a long time. And there was a push for a while back to have him run for governor, but he famously said he didn't want a pay cut.
And you know what? I think if he would have ran for governor,
I'd do it just for the press conferences.
Oh yeah, he would be. He would certainly be a good candidate, and we may have our special guest calling in, and that would be great. We'll talk to him a little bit if we can. But hey, thanks for joining us today. Sorry it's been a little disjointed. That's my fault. I didn't plan it as well as I should have, and. But we're going to have a guest join us now. I think Brian's getting him on the line, and we'll have a few minutes with him. Nope, that was not. That was another cold call, huh?
Well, that's Barrett, but we are just knocking on the door of done here. There's no time left for that, so we'll try to get him on at another time. Because here in about 10 seconds, our music's going to fire, and we're going to wrap it up for the day.
Okay, all right. We'll be back in a bit to wrap it up.
This is it.
Oh, this is it?
Yep.
Well, hey, then let me tell you this, folks. Thank you for listening to us today. This has been The Point with Bill Crawford. Tune us in tomorrow for Seth Burton and also our interview with Dwyer Fire Foundation. Glad you enjoyed us today. Hope you enjoyed us today.
Gosh, I hope so.
I do too. And stay cool. Keep our service members in your thoughts and prayers. And be back tomorrow.
And y'all look out for each other, would you?
I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave their right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the
This is Talk Radio, WC.